The morning sun gently pulls me out of sleep. I yawn and stretch, feeling fully rested. After my roller coaster of a day yesterday, actually, make that my roller coaster of a week, I'm just happy to finally have a day to relax. I take my time getting out of bed, and when I check the time, I realize it's already past noon. Good thing there's nowhere I need to be. Shrugging it off, I get lost in the deep recesses of the internet. Ooh, you don't wanna go there. The dark web is not a nice place. Can we have a date with Yuna, like an actual one? Before I know it, the day has passed. Doing nothing can sure be exhausting. Oh, I know that feeling. As I'm about to go in the kitchen for a snack, my phone rings. It's a call from Nikki. Oh, think about it, I haven't seen her all day. Of course, I answer. Hello?
Thank God you're home.
Whoa, what? She speaks quickly and seems almost out of breath.
Can you pick me up from the bookstore?
Her voice is garbled and I can hardly make out what she's saying. What? She pauses and there's a lot of movement on the phone before she speaks again.
Please, can you get me?
Where are you?
At the bookstore.
Her voice is clear, but she sounds scared. I'll be there in a minute. Something doesn't seem right. Alright, I'll be there in a few minutes. Nikki sighs in relief.
Thanks.
We hang up the phone and I hurry back to my bike. Nikki would tell me if she were in danger. Wouldn't she? I try not to dwell on the thought, but I pick up my speed anyway. Luckily, traffic is on my side and I arrive in a few minutes earlier than anticipated. Nikki waits for me beneath a street lamp a few feet away from the bus stop. I can make out Ken's dark mop of hair beside her. It's a little strange that she's not under the bus awning. What is Ken doing there? Nikki straightens up as I slow down. Flecks of blood are staining her clothes and bruise marks her skin. Ken steps into the light to greet me, and I wince when I see him. His left eye and cheek is puffy and starting to turn purple. Blood drips down his face from a cut at his temple. He must have been trying to clean it because his forehead is smeared with streaks of red. What the hell happened here? I park my bike and rush over to him. Nikki throws her arm around me and hugs me tightly.
So glad you're here.
What the fuck, Nikki? Are you okay? No, you just said that she's covered in fucking blood.
Yeah, I'm fine.
You're bleeding.
No, the blood's not mine.
What? Is it Ken's?
No.
You look like hell. He tried to smile, then dabs his swollen lip. His finger is now stained with fresh blood. He holds himself stiffly and leans on a lamppost for support.
He saved me from those guys.
What guys?
I don't know. There was a group of them. 3, I think, waiting for the bus. And when I showed up, they started saying all these things about me. They were being so gross and creepy, but I tried to ignore them because I figured the bus would be there soon and it wouldn't matter. And then one of the guys tried to put his arm around me. I freaked out. And I guess I pushed him and he got really angry. And then the other guy grabbed me and...
My blood runs cold. What? Did he hit you? Are you hurt?
No!
Nikki's voice trembles and her eyes glitter with tears. I'm about to pull her back in a hug when Ken slips his hand into hers and squeezes.
Ken intervened before anything could have happened.
She glances at Ken and smiles broadly.
He came barreling out of the bookstore, screaming at that guy to let me go, and then he punched him right in the face. The guy was super angry, and he and his friends ganged up on him.
How did you get your bruises then? She frowns.
I tried to stop them from ganging up on Ken.
You what? What were you thinking joining the fight? You could have seriously been injured. Nikki sets her jaw.
There was no way I was going to let Ken fight them alone. Especially not when this fight only happened because of me.
I'm too stunned by her outburst to reply. Of course, I'm not pleased that she put herself in danger, but part of me is also a little bit proud.
but I didn't really need to help.
I raise an eyebrow.
Ken beat 2 of them up by himself. The 3rd one had to help them up so they could escape.
What? I look skeptically at Ken. I wouldn't say he's scrawny, but he's no muscle man either. Ken shifts nervously. I still think I make him uncomfortable.
I have some experience with martial arts.
Good, gotta do it.
What do you mean, some experience? You're a 2nd dan black belt!
Some. He's a what? I certainly wasn't expecting that. You threw yourself in harm's way to protect Nikki?
Of course!
Ken maintains eye contact and answers with conviction. Nikki blushes.
Anyway, I told Ken he should go back inside, but he refused.
It's not safe for her to wait alone.
Alright, take another look at Ken. Respect. There's a fire in his eyes I never noticed before. When he looks at Nikki, it isn't that timid kid trembling in his boots. He looks like someone who's willing to move. He looks like someone who's willing to move mountains. I mean, his eyes a nod. Thanks for being there for her. He blinks in surprise, but nods back.
I only did what anyone would have done.
Don't be so modest. You were amazing out there.
Ken shrugs awkwardly, then winces in pain. Sorry, it's kind of fun. Are you sure you're okay, though? Maybe we should take you to the hospital. He shakes his head.
I'm fine. Nothing's broken.
I look him over. I don't know about that.
I told him we should call an ambulance, but he refused.
I promise I'm okay. I'm sorry for causing you such trouble.
This is one of those rare times I wish my bike could fit more people. Do you at least have a ride home?
He let me call his brother to come pick him up.
We'll wait here until he arrives.
I appreciate the thought, but I would feel more at ease if you took Nikki home.
I insist. Nikki shakes her head.
What if they come back?
I know my brother will be here in a few minutes.
I can afford to wait a few minutes.
Me too.
I glance at the dimly lit bookstore. Is the bookstore still open? Maybe we can wait inside there.
They're probably in the middle of closing.
I'm sure your coworkers will let you back in. They're probably wondering what happened to you anyway.
You work there? He nods. Realizing he's fighting a losing battle, Ken agrees.
Okay.
Nikki and I go to support him, but he manages to walk by himself. As we head inside the bookstore, his co-workers rush out to help, each asking questions about what happened. Nikki and I sit with Ken while we wait for his brother to arrive. Nikki fusses over Ken and he lets her. As I watch the two of them, I pay close attention to Ken. He's calm, respectful, and polite, but most importantly, he makes Nikki smile. Hey, Ken, can I talk to you for a second? He looks up at me with wide eyes, that very same expression that he wore the first time we met.
Sure.
Immediately, I lead him to a quiet area behind the shelves. I'm trusting you to take care of her. He blinks blankly before his eyes widen again. His face goes pink and his brows are at perfect 90-degree angles.
Of course. Thank you for your trust.
You don't have to bow. He returns to his upright position.
Sorry.
Don't apologize.
Sorry.
I glare at him and he shuts up. This is kind of fun. I think I might actually enjoy this turn of events. Okay, let's get back. Nikki bombards us with questions as we return.
What was that all about? Why wasn't I invited? Why did Ken bow?
Yeah,
Ken, why did you bow? I grin devilishly at him, daring him to answer.
It's because he's, my senpai?
Well, we did it! We senpai. Nikki stares at him blankly. then shifts their attention to me.
What did you do?
Nothing at all. Isn't that right, Ken?
Of course.
This is a great way to make light of a serious situation. Nikki pouts, but I can see the trace of a smile. I guess she's glad we're finally getting along. After a few minutes, Ken's brother shows up. He convinces Ken to go to the hospital and thanks us for the help. With Ken safe, we head home. Nikki lets out a huge breath when we step into the living room. Her face is unusually serious. She hangs her head and stares at her feet.
I'm so sorry.
Why?
If I hadn't gone to visit Ken, I wouldn't have lost track of time and stayed out so late, and then I wouldn't have gotten into this mess and made everyone worry.
Nikki, what happened wasn't your fault. Nikki glances up at me.
But if I...
No, none of it was your fault. What happened was the fault of those guys, and if I ever find out who they are, I'm gonna finish what Ken started. Nikki smiles weakly and nods.
I think I'll go take a shower.
Sure. As soon as Nikki goes upstairs, Kaito pops his head out of the kitchen.
Is Nikki gone?
Yeah. He pauses and gives me another look.
Did something happen?
I debate telling Kaito about the incident, but I don't want him to needlessly worry. He looks like he has something else on his mind. It's fine. What's up?
I heard back from the PI.
What did he say?
Ezra Wilson.
The drunk driver?
Yeah, what do you really know about him?
He and Dad used to work together at Midori Energy. They were on every project together, and he used to come to the house all the time while we were growing up. I thought he and Dad were friends. My voice trails off. His blood alcohol level was far over the legal limit. It's not like the cops could ask him about it due to the coma, nor was there any evidence in which indicated that this was more than a cut-and-dried drunk driving accident. There was no incentive to investigate further, so that's all that was listed in the report.
Well, it turns out Ezra was stalking your father.
I frown. That doesn't make any sense. They saw each other every day at work. Why?
The PI read about a huge fire at Midori Energy the week before your parents' accident. He spoke to a few people and found out that the fire destroyed important documents which contained all the research for Midori's latest project.
I racked my brain. I think I might remember hearing something about that fire.
The documents which were destroyed was your father's and Ezra's research.
Dad's research. I try to recall Dad right before the accident. He seems a little more worried than usual, but otherwise didn't give any indication that something was amiss. Shouldn't he have been devastated by something like losing years of research? Was he trying to protect me, or was something else going on?
Ezra didn't take the loss well. Right after the fire, Ezra accused your father of purposely sabotaging him by setting their research on fire.
Dad wouldn't do that. It was his research too.
Right. It didn't make sense. Nobody believed him and they chalked up his breakdown to stress. But he wouldn't let it go. He accosted your father many times at work demanding answers. It got so bad that he was assigned a leave of absence by the company. On the day of the accident, your parents had lunch at a cafe.
Oh, the rest of it's not voice, alright? Yeah, I remember.
The PI asked the waitstaff if they remembered seeing your parents there, and they did. Ezra too.
He was there.
Yeah, he'd followed them there and was already clearly intoxicated. He demanded that they pay him all the money he would have made upon completion of the project. Obviously, your father refused and continually maintained his innocence. Ezra became so disruptive the manager had to forcibly remove him from the cafe.
My parents seemed shaken, but they tried to finish their meal as if nothing happened.
That's when they received the call from Nikki.
And I guess Ezra tried to tail them, but ended up running them off the road. Kaito nods, looking more grim than ever. Something doesn't add up. What research is important enough to kill over? And if Ezra was driven to madness after losing his life's work, why was Dad barely affected? And then there's the convenient timing of Akira's copycat core. How much time has passed since the accident? since the fire. Enough for the company to piece together just enough for the research to turn a profit? Uncle Kaito. He looks at me. I think the research that killed Dad has to do with my core. He hesitates and slowly nods.
You might be right.
Wasn't there an encryption piece that Valerie wasn't able to unlock? Maybe they can make sense of all of this. I need to take another look at it. I need to go look at my core. Uncle Kaito doesn't try to stop me.
You do what you need to do.
Can we pack heat? Oh wait, this is fucking Japan. You can't get a gun in the fucking country if you tried. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. Thanks, Uncle Kaito. For the second time today, I raced to the garage and hop on my bike, and then drive to Ace. The campus feels even more empty than usual. Even though it's after hours, I have no trouble swiping into the hangar. It's all quiet except for the sound of my footsteps. I can't get to Eagle fast enough. As soon as I do, I plop down in the terminal and boot up the computer. I follow the instructions Valerie left for me, and I'm greeted by the password prompting screen she shows me earlier. She said that there was a hint here. Let's see what it had to say. Why didn't you try doing this earlier, dude? The screen is a scrambled mess of words with no rhyme or reason to them. As I read through it a couple of times, making sure my eyes don't skip any words. Most of these words mean nothing to me, but a select few stand out. Cricket, Moo, Sir Hops a lot. Those were childhood names Dad gave to me. Each of them has a story, and none of them were very long-lived. The ultimate nickname that stuck with me for an embarrassing long time was Meatball, because when I was born, my cheeks were big and round like meatballs. Oh, okay. Dad's favorite story to tell was the time I started school. How was this important? The teachers called for roll call, and I stayed silent, so she marked me absent. After she'd gone through the list of names, I said that she didn't call mine. She asked me if my name was Southern Wolf, and I responded no. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's bad. I've been called Meatball at home for so long that I didn't even know my real name. Yes, and I thought my name was Jesus Christ until I was 5. That must be the answer. I apprehensively type Meatball into the password prompt. My finger hovers over the enter key before pressing it. The prompt disappears and a video pops up on the screen. My breath catches in my throat as Dad looks straight into the camera. There are dark circles under his eyes and worry lines around his mouth. His hair sticks up at odd angles and his clothes are smudged with dirt and oil. He notices that the recording light is on and tries to fix himself up a bit before giving me a weak smile.
The fact that you are watching this now means something must have gone wrong.
He sighs and his voice grows thick.
I'm sorry.
I try to swallow the lump in my throat and ignore the stinging tears in my eyes. This isn't the Dad I remember. The Dad I remember had a booming laugh which took up the room. He was sure of himself and never had regrets.
By putting this technology in Eagle, I have potentially endangered you. But I don't know where else I can keep it safe. Midori Energy doesn't fully understand the scope of this research. They're willing to sell it to anyone without considering the consequences. Companies which would weaponize this technology will cause irreparable damage. They could create energy explosions 13 times the force of a nuclear bomb.
Exactly which nuclear bomb? There are many different sizes. Now, if we're talking 13 times the size of the Tsar bomb that Russia has, we're talking, oh shit, levels. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're talking oh shit levels to any size nuke, but one extreme or the other? I mean, never mind. He says as John lifts his gaze back towards the camera. His eyes are unusually steady and cold.
That's why I caused the fire. I burned all copies of my research to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands.
Dad runs his hand through his hair, a gesture he would do whenever he was stressed or worried.
It's hard to completely destroy 20 years of research. Especially when this technology could bring so much good.
For every person that dreams up the light bulb, there is someone that dreams up the atom bomb.
The possibilities would have been endless. This new format of energy may function similarly to existing methods, but the fundamental principles are vastly different and have far wider scalability implications.
A shadow of his old self returns while he talks, and I catch a glimpse of a genuine smile. Dad was always a bit of a dreamer. Then his face becomes grim.
And that is why this core is sitting in Eagle now.
His piercing gaze stares straight in my soul.
I'm sorry for getting you involved. I'm sorry I couldn't follow through with what I started. But most of all, I'm sorry I wasn't able to tell you this in person.
His eyes look glassy and glitter too much beneath the light.
I probably don't say this enough, but I'm so proud of who you've grown up to be. I know, if you're watching this, that I've put a heavy burden on your shoulders, but I trust you will make the right decision. My only hope is that you can find it in your heart to forgive me.
Dad glances behind him. Something must have spooked him because he was facing the camera again. He smiles feebly and his voice is quiet.
Take care of your sister. Goodbye, son.
The video cuts off abruptly. At first, I'm too stunned to move. The image of Dad is seared into my eyes. He was the same, yet so unfamiliar. His face slowly fades away. I'm surprised to feel wetness on my cheeks. He knew. He knew exactly what he was doing when he hid the technology inside of Eagle. And I now understand why I wasn't allowed to help to program the core. I understand why Dad seemed almost obsessive about completing Eagle. It also makes sense why I never noticed a difference between this core and any other core. Dad never matured the technology. He must have set up the overdrive configuration probably not long before he... ... He set the overdrive to only happen once, so I began to search for answers. His last words ring in my mind. Goodbye, son. He knew the implications of his research and entrusted it all to me through the gear that we built together. I glance over at Eagle, partially obscured by shadows. The darkened blue no longer seemed warm and inviting like the salty spray of the ocean, but feels like the dangerous and cold winter sky. I try to bring up the video once more so I can hear his voice one more time, see his face even though it's not the one I want to remember. But I can't. It was a one-time initiation. As I try to process the situation, I don't know what to feel. I recall Dad's hollow cheeks and the shadows of pain under his eyes. Of one thing I'm certain, I cannot keep using the core knowing all of this. But what will I do about the research? Keep it protected. Sometimes Dad thought too much about the big picture and forgot about the details. He wanted to create a better future for us and was willing to die to make his dreams a reality. If only he could see that the future that we wanted was one with him in it. I don't want Dad's sacrifice to have been in vain. I want him to achieve his dreams. I climb up the ladder beside Eagle and open the cockpit. I enter the sequence which unlocks the panels protecting my core. Like a beating heart, it gives off a faint pulse of energy. I open the terminal screen in my cockpit and find the source of information for my core. After collecting all the schematics and data in the drive, I set an impossible run instance. The low glow continues to brighten more and more. After a zapping noise, it becomes an opaque object. As far as anyone would know, the core short-circuited. This technology belongs with a company who will utilize it properly. Until I know who that is, I'll keep it safe with me and not bring any more attention to it. After learning all I have, I can't keep using it as a leg up against the competition. Eagle will use a regular core from now on. I mean, are you shitting me? You are one dumb-ass motherfucker. As I stand there, I suddenly feel tired and so lost. Without thinking, I pull out my phone and dial the first name that comes to mind.
Broseph, how's it hanging?
Fuck. You think we can meet?
Oh, sure.
I feel cheated. It should be Yuna. He sounds surprised.
Any place you have in mind?
Where are you now? Can I meet you?
I'm just chilling in my room. Come on over.
Thanks. I'll see you soon. We hang up the phone. As if in a daze, I make my way towards his dorm. Joe greets me with a wide smile, but it drops as soon as he sees my face. I have hardly greet any of his dorm mates as we pass before we settle into Show's room. I sit at his desk while Show flops on his bed.
What's going on? You seem tense.
I unconsciously start to play with the drive in my hands.
What's that?
It's my core. He blinks, then laughs.
Very funny, but seriously, what is it?
The data from my core. Show frowns.
What's it doing in there?
I don't know where else to put it.
You could have left it in Eagle.
I sigh and share with Show all that I've learned. My story comes out in pieces and Show continuously asks questions to help him understand the order of events. Eventually, I finish my story.
Damn, that's intense.
I know. I'm not sure if I did the right thing. I acted emotionally and maybe I should have taken the time to really think things through.
No way. You were right to do what you did.
You think so?
Without a doubt.
I let out the breath that I hadn't realized I'd been holding. It's a huge weight off my shoulders, and I hadn't realized how anxious I was about this decision until someone else validated my choice.
Your dad might not have been able to make the decision himself, but he was right to trust you. You're like the most logical guy I know.
I grin weakly. Considering your version of logic, that's not too difficult to achieve.
Hey!
He matches my grin.
How are you doing otherwise?
It still sucks. I keep wondering about what could have happened.
I know it's easier said than done, but you've got to let it go. Once you give in to the what-ifs, it's really hard to pull yourself back out. You end up obsessed. You don't even realize what you're doing until it's too late and life passes you by.
He shakes his head.
Then you would have just wasted the life your father fought so hard to give you.
He's right. Wondering about the impossible will only bring more heartache. I need to accept what happened, take what I've learned, and move on. Shit, and I used move on as a title already. Fuck. That would be good for this. A nod. You're right. I can't let what I've learned bring me down. I'm lucky to have a friend who will always have my back. In this moment, I have clarity. I don't need to focus on my past because my future is worth exploring, and my friends will be with me every step of the way. And there we have it. There it is. I would have actually preferred to have one or two other scenes with Yuna, and I feel like I just didn't focus hard enough down her path, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened there. Pretty damn sure. Although out of all the companies to give the core information to, giving it to Show might actually be one of the best ideas. Oh well. Time to let the credits roll on, and I'll see you all next time.